Hi, Mr. Alatorre. My name is Trenton Gilkey. I attend Hutchinson Community College, and this is my persuasive speech. Now, a lot of you in this room, I'm sure, eat meat. I'm sure most all of you do. And I'm sure you eat it on a daily basis. However, whenever you're eating this, do you consider the ramification that it has on the animals that are killed so that way you can eat it? Now, the consumption of meat has been something that's been in our society since the dawn of time. And I realize that, it's very hard to break from a cycle that, even your ancestors were in. However, our ancestors didn't commercially gather the animals in a subhumane living environment and then proceed to slaughter them without even, giving them proper amounts of food and purposefully boosting their growth with hormones. Now, these animals are borderline tortured, and as I'm sure all of you have seen in the news or at some point, it has some very disastrous effects, such as mad cow disease. There are a lot of different diseases that are caused because a lot of these animals are so badly mistreated. And another thing is that you may think that you need meat in your diet, but in fact you don't. I live with my mother, and she actually is a vegetarian. She doesn't eat meat almost ever, and we at home don't eat it very often either. And a trick that she's come up with is just simply not telling me whenever it's vegetarian or not, because at the beginning I was really antsy about eating vegetarian food just because there's a stigma around it. But whenever she didn't tell me, and she actually made a full week of dinners, and I had no idea that they were vegetarian, at the end of the week she told me that, and I was in disbelief. The things that you can make with vegetarian food are a lot more diverse than what they used to be. It used to be if you were a vegetarian, you eat tofu and rice, and that's basically it. And it's just simply not the case in today's society. Another very big deal about this animal abuse is what's happening in cosmetic factories. You'll see on a lot of shampoos and different things like that, different facial products, that almost all of these products were tested at some point on animals, and if they aren't, it has in really big bold print, not tested on animals. But just the fact that this has such a huge bold print and it's so surprising to so many people is almost disturbing, because that means that all the other different companies are testing these things on animals, and that means that these animals are undergoing really subhumane conditions. Now, what I mean by that is, if it's not able to be tested on us, then what they're dealing with, whenever it gets tested on humans, the side effects can be somewhat severe, but that means whenever it's tested on animals, then it must be at least twice as severe. It can get really bad, and often there are deaths involved with this cosmetic testing. Now, I realize you're going to leave here today, and you might have some thoughts about, I wonder what happens to the animals. And that's really the whole point of my speech. I just want you guys not to stop eating meat or do anything like that, don't do anything drastic, because you won't stick with it. I'm just saying I want you to be conscious of what you're eating and what you're wearing and what effects it might have on the animals that it was tested upon or on the animals you're eating. So I'd like to thank you for your time, and that's all.